Hi you guys, I'm Phil Town from Rule 1 Investing, and today I'm going to give you some advice about your emergency fund. Look, wouldn't it be great to have a little bit of extra money set aside that you could use to cover any setbacks you have, kind of that life throws at you, right? What Charlie Munger calls the natural vicissitudes of life. Having an emergency fund will not only help you out in a pinch, it'll help you sleep better at night. An emergency fund is a reserve of money that covers expenses you wouldn't normally plan for. These are things like a car wreck that might not have enough insurance to cover, maybe damage from a storm that isn't totally covered by insurance, maybe some expensive medical bills, hospital visit, or an unexpected layoff and you need 3 to 6 months of capital before you are really able to expect to get a job again. And the reason to have one is really simple. You don't know what's going to happen in your life, and sometimes you just need a little extra, and it's really good to be prepared. So how big should your fund be? Most people will tell you you need 3 to 6 months of living expenses, but that all depends on your own financial situation. If things are pretty stable, you may only need about 3 months. If you're the only earner in your household, then okay, you maybe need to save some more. The funds should be liquid, which means that you can get to them quickly. You can keep them in a separate savings account, that's okay, where you can access them whenever you need to. But here's the thing, if you put your money in a savings account, it's not going to grow. It's going to be there for sure if you need it, but it's not going to grow. Another way to think about it is maybe learn Rule 1 investing, have the money invested in companies that you bought that are super cheap with a big margin of safety, so that if you need to get the cash out of the market, you can get it out without taking a loss. So it's a little bit different way of thinking about it. So another benefit of having an emergency fund is that if you do it right, it keeps you from spending your money on a whim because it's not that accessible. There's a saying, out of sight, out of mind, and the same is true for how you store your emergency money. If you have a large store of extra cash that you don't readily have to have at the moment, you may find yourself wanting to spend some of it on a new TV. The problem with buying a new TV is that if you're really a good investor, you're able to double your money every 3 years, 4 years, 5 years like that. Turns out you go down the road about 20 years, that new TV cost you about $500,000. So keep the money in a separate account and don't touch it. You'll save a lot of extra money that way. And the reason is because you'll never see it unless you absolutely have to have it. And that's the whole point, isn't it? So sit down and calculate how much you need to live for 3 to 6 months. For most people, it might be between $10,000 and $15,000. So start saving that money to protect yourself from the things that life can throw at you. Now, when creating how much you need for 3 to 6 months, you want to take some things into mind, like accounting for your housing, your food, health care, utilities, debt. Don't worry about entertainment dollars, vacations, dining out, because it's pretty likely you're going to cut all those things out of there. So you're really looking at just the bare bones. Always keep in mind that while 3 to 6 months is a good rule of thumb, it might not be enough, especially this is true if you're working in a high-risk industry where layoffs are common, your income isn't steady, or if you're retired. So always keep in mind, you need to do what's best for you. So find the number that's right for you. Now, one of the most important things about an emergency fund is that you only touch the fund for emergencies. Emergencies are urgent and unexpected. It might seem like your fund is just sitting there doing nothing, but it's giving you some really great peace of mind. So for example, a trip to Disneyland is not an emergency and it's not unexpected. Neither is Christmas, okay? Neither are those birthdays, weddings. All those things are plannable and you need to plan for them. That's not for your emergency fund. Now, I'd love to hear from you guys. How much money have you set aside for an emergency fund? And what are you doing with that emergency fund? Is it really just sitting in a savings account at 0.1%? Or can you put it in a brokerage account, invest like a Rule 1 investor, and make 10 to 15, 20% a year on it while having it ready for an emergency? So leave a comment below with your answer and I'll be sure to follow up with you. We expect some controversy about this. Investing in an emergency fund? You won't hear that from everybody. So thanks for watching, you guys. Now go play. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you feel it was valuable in teaching you more about investing, Subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends if you guys would, or anybody else that might benefit from this information, even if they're not your friends.